And welcome back. This is The Guys Next Door. I'm your host, Ron Arenas, with my co-host today, Frank the Tank.
Hi, guys. I was busy taking pictures.
I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
You're taking your selfies on the radio show.
Have to. You know, everything, they can't see what I'm doing, boss.
Oh, okay. If you don't take a selfie, then it didn't happen?
It didn't happen.
Yeah, okay. I
Didn't
get
happen.
that. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
just like we're talking with football, Chris is the normal one.
no one's ever blamed Frank the Tank of being normal.
Yeah, it's a little different.
As I'm learning.
Yeah. So that voice that you hear on the other microphone is Stoney from Under the Lights Flag Football League.
You bailed out. You chickened out right there.
Hey, get your name right, Stoney.
He did get it right.
Pelletier, right?
Nailed it. There you go.
Yeah.
Well done.
Well, see, he's better with last
6
names.
years of high school. I'm holding up 5 fingers, folks. 6 years. I went to Amphi.
Oh, solid. That's ahead of schedule for Empire.
I was gifted.
Right. So you've been coaching in youth flag football for a long time.
A long time. So we're going on 16 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I think about 10 years ago was when my youngest son,
Luke. Yep.
yeah, he played with you.
Gosh, so he's what, 19 now?
He's 20.
20. So yeah, 10 years ago.
Yeah,
'Cause he was
yeah,
9, 10 years old.
he was 10 and he was playing with the under 12 kids, so
Yeah.
I put him in the older kids.
You did.
Yeah.
And he fit in though. He's not a small kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
He did well.
He talks too much, though.
Luke, yeah, he's a blabbermouth. He is.
So tell us a little bit about Under the Lights.
Well, so it's a youth flag football league.
Yeah.
We're a little bit different in our format than most, but it's an Under Armour powered or sponsored, however you want to call it, flag football league. It's nationwide. We're in something like, 180 cities across the country.
Okay.
And
you're running the Tucson League right now.
and international as well. So a lot of Canada are getting into Europe. So I run the Tucson, chapter. It's not really a chapter, obviously, but I run the Tucson location, largest in town.
Okay.
We'll get anywhere from 450 kids up to close to 1,000. We
Wow.
run 3 seasons a year. So we'll have a fall, a winter, a spring.
Okay.
We're just finishing our fall. The championships are actually this weekend. The tournament's this weekend, so that'll finish up the fall season. We'll start winter in January.
Okay, where are you guys playing at?
Noronha Park in Oro Valley.
Oh, nice. You guys used to play at Crossroads Park.
We did. Oro Valley's been, look, Miranda's great to us too, but Oro Valley, the parks up there, the fields.
Those are brand new fields, right?
So, yeah, they are,
They
and
are.
they just added 2 more.
Oh,
So
okay.
there's tons of fields up there. They take great care of them. They take great care of us. And so we get a good draw from both Marana and Oro Valley.
Yeah. What are the ages?
We have from pre-K all the way up through 8th grade.
Oh, wow.
And we're really, the biggest push that we're trying to get, as you might, for those of you that follow high school sports, girls flag football
Mhm.
is a sanctioned sport in high school now in Arizona, as well as like Florida and a few other states.
Okay.
So, and we usually have, I don't know, maybe, it's not going to seem like a large number, but probably 10 to 20% of our kids are girls because we're co-ed.
Yeah, you're co-ed.
And so we've really, the push was, this kind of started, we've had it for a few years, is to get all girls divisions. Because the girls, you got to be a little, to be willing to play co-ed, even though it's flag football.
Yeah.
So as we've started to do that and talk about it, we started to get a lot of feedback like, oh, my daughter would play if she was playing against girls.
Oh,
And because,
okay.
it's not a natural sport for them to play. So
Yeah.
I think there is a little bit of that apprehension from them. But if they're going to play with each other, and look, honestly, the girls in the league some of them are the best athletes out on the field,
Yeah.
and have no fear. And, it's always funny. We'll see girls out there and they'll have the bows in their hair and they're just flying around,
Oh,
they look
cool.
like they're just coming out and, they have to have their uniform all right and have a bow in their hair, and then they're just flying around the field scoring touchdowns, and
Right.
kids are going crazy. So
Did your daughter play?
no,
Okay.
I
She was into like
tried.
cheer and dance and all
she
that
was
stuff.
dance her whole life. Which, if you're a dad and your daughter says she wants to do dance, to try to avoid that as much as possible. But yeah, so she danced her whole life, and then in high school she did pom and dance
Okay.
team and those kinds of things. So
Very cool. But yeah.
kinda. She was on the football field technically, but
Yeah, she was on the
Yeah.
football field. Yeah, I remember that. But you had your other 3 sons that were playing.
yeah. So I have one still, and then I two I have twin boys that are college,
Yeah.
who are just finished their football careers. Played in college and different places, but yeah. And my youngest is now still playing in high school.
Okay. Very good.
Yeah.
A couple of the things I appreciated about you when Luke was playing for you was just one was the skills that you taught them. I mean, you taught them football skills that could translate into tackle football or just the flag football. You know, with the hand skills and the feet skills. I mean, you could just translate that. So tell us a little bit about that and
So as we got into it, a little bit of backstory, and hopefully no one gets too. I grew up in Texas playing tackle football. There really was no flag football. And my boys, when they got to that age, we kind of realized like they're not really getting developed. So when we transitioned to flag football, it was really, I said, hey, I want them to be able to, it's going to go either way. So we kind of, as it developed over years and years, just of coaching, but our whole goal was teach the kids the fundamentals so that they can be successful going forward. So we really, and I don't know if you remember from practices, we didn't scrimmage a whole lot.
No.
We'd run the plays and stuff, but I just felt like there was a place for scrimmaging. The line was always like, we'll scrimmage on Saturday, right, against other teams. So my feeling was if you can catch the ball, if you can learn to run the routes, if you can get your footwork right, everything else just kind of falls into place.
Right.
So, and that's kind of where that was kind of the gist of it was, hey, let's make sure we're dialed in on each of those skills, because you can run the greatest play in the world, but if you can't catch the ball, if you can't pull a flag, if you can't be in the right position defensively and all that kind of stuff, and the rest of it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So that was really our focus. And then it was, when we started developing drills, there was very few, we would have a drill and you're like, well, this isn't really going to translate, because at the time there was no flag football going forward. Now it's starting to get more popular in high school. And I think they're even, now it's going to be in the Olympics and things like that. So we were like, how can we make this drill so that taking it to when and if they ever decide to play tackle, it's going to translate, and there won't be, so there was very few things that we found were like, hey, if you get in position, if you're going with two hands, if you're dropping your hit, things like that, if you're catching the ball and tucking it, right now you don't have to worry about it. But the flag football, and I think it's 7-on-7 is a lot. The kids are carrying the ball out wide, and like, well, you're going to do that once, and then you're going to fumble, and your coach is going to kill you. So we always teach them to tuck it. And I think a lot of parents would be like, why? Like, they can't get hit. Like, well, it's a good habit to have. And, in the ones
you're just forming those good habits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what that was kind of the whole thing was habits. We want to create good habits on all these different things. And so, some of it, the earlier you can get them, then you're not breaking habits.
Yeah.
So, and I really wasn't too concerned about, not to get on I coach high school tackle football. And the thing was always, my kids played in like second grade, and they didn't play again until eighth grade.
Oh.
And that was mom's doing, believe it or not, in eighth grade, right? I said, no, we're done until high school.
Okay.
She's like, no, they have to be, we got to get them ready for high school. I was like, relax, like it'll be okay. I truly don't believe you need to do it. I mean, look, the Mannings didn't play until they were in high school.
Yeah.
Not that they're the, whatever, but there's certainly benefits to playing before. Like Luke, I don't think Luke played tackle, did he?
He
before?
started playing tackle in 7th grade, yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay, so junior high, okay.
Yeah.
So that's, I don't know if I got around to the answer to your question, but that was
You
really
did with the skill set and
I think so much of it depends on what position you play, right?
Yeah.
If you're on the outside, and so much of youth football is kind of just jam them in and it's like Big Ten, 1987 Big Ten football.
Right.
It's starting to get a lot better. They're starting to spread the ball out and things like that. But if you're not a lineman and you're playing youth football, they didn't, at least, most still don't. They don't throw the ball a lot, so you're not getting any of that either offensively or defensively.
Yeah.
You might catch a few balls here and there in the season. Now we're like, hey, we're catching 100 balls a day, or we're covering guys, we're running routes. The quarterbacks are throwing the ball, so you learn to develop those, and you don't need to be tackled in that, right? If you're a lineman, and look, Luke was a lineman, and I'll take some credit, and then all that footwork probably made him a better lineman,
It did,
right? And we had a lot of them that played. And they don't get a chance to ever touch the ball.
Yeah.
And Luke probably holds the record for that little Broncos 10U team for scoring. So that's where I think the benefit comes.
All right. So your next season starts in January?
January 11th, I believe, is the first week. Registration's open right now.
So how would people find that registration or go to that registration?
So if you go, our website is uaflag.com. So like Under Armour flag, but it's uaflag.com. And then you just have to navigate to the Tucson location, and then registration's right there. So
fantastic.
yeah.
One of the other things real quick that I wanted to touch on was just the way you handled the kids and the way that you stressed, home life and school. They had to have everything taken care of. And it was a privilege to be on the football field.
Yeah.
And that's just something that, I respected, and I really, thought that you did a great job on.
Well, I appreciate that. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing for me when we were doing it, back then I was just coaching a team, and now I'm, running an entire league, and it kind of morphed from we had 11 kids up to, I think at one point we had 87 kids just within our multi-levels.
Yep. Well, thank you. We're running out of time.
Hey, there you go.
But thank you for coming on.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right. All right. We are back to the guys next door. Frank, you didn't say much on the last segment.
You guys are talking about sports. I played left out, so I know my role.
You're the last guy picked?
I was. They're like, oh, God. I guess we'll take that guy.
All right, we'll take that guy.
I check off lots of boxes on the field, too. They're like, just bring us water, maybe.
Oh.
It's good times, boss. I knew what I was destined for, so water boy.
There you go. They made a movie about that.
They did.
Yeah.
They did. I still think I'd be Frank the Sugar Tank. I think that'd be hilarious.
Our next guest is one of my good friends, Billy Mortka. How you doing, Billy?
Doing well. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah. Tell us about what you do.
I am a real estate broker. I own my own real estate brokerage firm here in town. It is Harvey Mortka Realty.
All right.
And been open since 1975.
Oh,
and
wow.
I took it over from my father in 2012.
Very cool. And you do commercial real estate or residential real estate?
Residential and commercial sales mostly.
Both of them. Okay. All right. How does that market look out there?
Constantly changing. Right now we're fairly steady. It is been a big year for real estate as far as new rules and stuff.
That's right.
Which have been well publicized.
Yeah.
And
all over the nation.
all over the nation.
Yeah, it's not just Arizona.
Correct, nationwide.
Yeah.
So
what's your outlook for this next year?
I think we're going to see, normality, which is nice. A lot of people got used to the absolute sprint of the last, COVID run up.
Oh, okay.
So that was very intense. And, the old saying, you can't sprint a marathon. And I think we're finally starting to see the slowdown and probably back to normality where, things are on the market for a little bit longer than 3 hours.
Right. Yeah.
And
you're not going to have 40 bidders on the on one house.
Those days are gone for now. Not to say they won't come back, but
Right.
they're gone right now. And then the interest rates, of course, ticked up from the incredible historic lows of 3, and now they're more around 7. So back to life decisions, and you really want to move, or you are moving into town, you're leaving town, someone passes, life events that cause real estate to be sold.
Right. And there's always going to be that. Like you said, people passing away, people getting divorced, people losing their job, downsizing, upsizing.
Yeah, those things are going to continue to happen, but I think the days of, I want a extra bedroom maybe.
Yeah.
And then those people aren't moving because they're not leaving their sweet interest rate behind.
Yeah, if you had 3%, you're not going to leave it for 7%.
That's
for
correct.
sure. Yeah. So what's it like growing up in a real estate household? I mean, your dad did it for so many years.
Yeah, so actually I'm third gen.
Oh, okay.
So my grandfather moved here in 45, and he bought and sold commercial real estate as an investor and developer. He developed Frontier Village over on Pima and Alvernon.
Oh, okay.
And then my father got into the business at 19, and so my dinner table conversations as a child were everything from, what can you do with this piece of land? What's the highest and best use? What do you think this would rent for? Should we go buy this house? Let's go check this out. It might be a good deal. So it was 24/7 and, the whole childhood. So I always make the joke when I meet someone that says they don't talk about money, with family members. I was like, that's the only thing we talked about.
Oh, wow. But you got to learn it. I mean, it was just, it was put into your head,
The education I got from my father is invaluable, and people take a lot of years and a lot of time to get the stuff that I was just getting, spoon-fed from my father.
Right. Right. And when did you start?
I started sophomore year of college.
Oh, okay.
So I transferred from NAU down to U of A, and I got my license, and then finished up at the U of A, and then started doing real estate, and been doing it ever since. So that was 2003.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So you went through that, through the big 2008, 2010.
Yeah, I got the run up.
Yeah.
So when I
Oh yeah, you started at a great time, 2002.
yeah, so like
Yeah.
2006, I got out of college, and I'm like, oh, this is easy. This is
Right.
adulthood. Yeah, you just do your thing, you make money, and then go have fun. And then 2008 happened, and the great financial crisis, and then the baptism by fire happened,
Right.
and school of hard knocks.
Yeah.
But I made it through.
You did make it through, and one of the good things of going through those periods of time is it weeds out a lot of the maybe the agents that aren't invested like you are.
Yeah, you definitely have the order takers
Yeah.
that jump in when the going's good,
Yeah.
and then everyone leaves, and then I'm sure it's fairly similar in the HVAC world.
Yeah.
You know, all of a sudden there's 4,000 HVAC companies when the times
Right.
are good, and then 3 years later.
Yeah, usually every spring we see a bunch of HVAC companies pop up, and then usually most of them are gone within a year or two. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, you're right.
Nothing like a cycle.
Yeah, yeah, they're all cycles. So how is it doing business in Tucson and Pima County?
From my perspective, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Because I don't have a lot of the local regulations that a lot of other people have to go through. I have my business license with the city of Tucson, so that's
Okay.
not difficult to get. The hardest part that we have to deal with as far as city and government is probably whenever we're trying to get records or permits or anything like that. That
Yeah.
can be a little bit difficult and tedious. But overall, Tucson's a great place to do business. It's one of the friendlier places that I've ever visited, and luckily
Oh.
it's home.
Okay, yeah.
I was just traveling, and the head nod and a smile is pretty common here in town, and
Right.
definitely not across the nation.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize that. What do you have, Frank?
That's funny because I'm always friendly no matter where I go.
That's true. You talk to everyone.
I do. It's a gift.
Well, you need to travel more. I'll tell you where I went.
Who hurt you, Billy? We'll talk to him.
Do you see a lot of people continuing to come to retire to Tucson?
Oh, definitely. With the natural disasters that are occurring across the nation, more and more.
Yeah.
It used to be like, let's go to Florida to retire.
Yeah. But they have those hurricanes.
They have hurricanes,
Yeah.
and their cost of homeowners insurance is skyrocketing.
Ah.
So that is greatly going to affect, if someone's, where am I going to retire?
Yeah.
There's a good chance Florida's getting scratched off the list, or the part that they'd actually want to live in Florida.
Oh, okay.
So the condominiums there, a few years ago, that was that horrible disaster where it collapsed, and
Yeah.
I think 100 people passed away. The government said, all right, you have to certify that your condos are safe
Oh.
up to a certain standard. Well,
Okay.
some of these condos were built in the 60s, 70s, 80s.
Oh. And
And
there wasn't any codes.
Barely any compared
Yeah.
to what they're asking for now, because
Right.
nothing like this had happened. And the HOAs are basically assessing these retirees
Yeah.
$200,000
Oh.
per unit, so that they can
Do the upgrades.
and bring it
Yeah.
up to standard, so that doesn't happen again.
Wow.
So you can imagine being retired and getting a $200,000 bill that you weren't expecting.
Yeah, that's not fun.
No. So I think a lot of people are going to continue to retire here. Our summers are toasty, as we
Yeah.
all are aware, as you're definitely aware, because that's your busy season.
Yeah.
But the winters are still fantastic. I mean,
Oh,
what is
yeah.
it? 70 degrees out right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's beautiful out right now.
So
Definitely. It's bike riding weather.
there you go. And luckily we have the loop, so you don't even have to touch the road,
That's right. That's right. We don't ever have to be on the street.
which is always a benefit.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, because there's a couple drivers here and there that maybe not paying attention. So
Yeah.
loop is definitely, it's a huge benefit. And I know just it's something that draws people from all over the United States. They come here to ride during the winter.
Yeah, not only ride, but I mean just the amount of people
Hike
that
and-
walk along the loop every
Yeah.
day, every weekend is great. It's a wonderful thing. Probably one of the better things Pima County's ever done.
Yeah, I agree with you. So how do people get a hold of you?
We have a website. It's hmr1975.com. Feel free to go out there. You can contact us there. All the info's there. We're on Instagram, Facebook under Mordka Realty. Pretty easy to get a hold of. Just hit it in the Google machine. Just got a interesting last name, so if you spell it Mordka, that's correct, and it should pop up.
Perfect. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the new rules? I mean, we have a little bit over a minute, but
Yeah, so some of the new rules, the main new rules, and you can Google the new rules because they're all over. But definitely the biggest difference is you have to call ahead
Mhm.
or meet with a broker before you go look at a house. So you have to have a written agreement
Oh,
between your buyer broker, buyer agent, and yourself before you go into a home. So pre this August 17th is when they went into the new rules. Before that, you could call your favorite realtor up and say, hey,
yeah,
I saw
show me
this
a bunch
place.
of houses.
I saw
Yeah.
this at 123 Main. I just want to go to it.
Right.
And now they say, okay, well, before we go over there, we have to negotiate our commission,
Wow.
and we have to have a written agreement, and then we're going to go and take a look at it. So the big rub is this used to be all encapsulated within our MLS on the seller side,
Right.
and that's the big change, is that now it's on between the buyer and the buyer broker, and it has to be in writing.
Wow. So is it more of an inconvenience for the realtors?
I mean, it's definitely more paperwork,
Yeah.
but the biggest change is we used to be able to look at our MLS and say, okay, what is the co-op commission being offered by the seller? And it was
Okay.
there in black and white. And now you have to, before that is not there, that's gone.
Okay.
So you have to negotiate your commission straight with your client, which is a
okay.
different conversation completely.
Yeah.
Which is probably normality for most, obviously, businesses, but it's definitely a change. These are rules and practices that have been around for almost 100 years. So anyone who had bought and sold a house, it's a different conversation now.
It definitely is. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
We'd like to thank our sponsors, Piper Family Painting, Tucson Tamale, Steamy Concepts, Duran Coaching, Crest Insurance, Tucson Pack and Ship, and Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. We'll see you next week.